Hey, it's Jared with State of Tech. Today we're going to talk about 3 different premium Bluetooth noise canceling headsets from Bose, Sony, and Apple. So the unboxing experience is what we'll start with, and you could check out the timestamps down below to move around this video if you would like. This video is going to be very much about my opinion and experiences with these 3 different headsets, as headphones are a unique experience for each person, but I'm going to do my best to describe my experiences with them to help you out, because most people don't have an experience with all 3 of these headsets. And so let's start with the unboxing experience. The unboxing experience for these headsets was fairly boring. I'd say maybe with Apple being the most interesting, as Apple does put a lot of time and effort into the packaging and experience of packaging. However, Apple, the AirPods Max had a lot of stuff that you had to pull off of them, and so it wasn't that exciting of an unboxing experience. So let's move on to the cases of these 3 units. Obviously, most of us who have seen the AirPods Max before were probably a little bit disappointed with this kind of diaper thing that it comes with. And it doesn't really protect much of the AirPods Max considering the cost. And so you probably, if you go with the AirPods Max, you're probably going to want to purchase some sort of a case for them, because this does not really do a whole lot. Of course, we've got the Bose case here, which is not that impressive either. Pretty boring case. Has a little sleeve here for your cords, and then of course the headphones sit right in there. The Sony case is different from last year's model. Last year's model and the previous year's models always meant that you had to kind of like fold them over in a certain way where they would fit in the case, and it was always kind of annoying. I never got it right on the first try, and so now they've changed that a little bit, and it's a flat lay, which I do like. I like the fact that it's a flat lay now. It's much easier to get them in there. There's a little pouch here for your cables that holds closed magnetically. And so I'm a fan of this case. It is a little oddly shaped for me with this, I don't know, it kind of, kicks off at an angle, and so it doesn't like lay flat, which is annoying. I don't really know which side is top. I would assume that this side is top, but this bothers me. But nonetheless, it's going to require me a lot less time to get the headset put in the case, and I'm not going to be all frustrated fumbling around, which I often am doing when I'm trying to get off of an airplane, because I usually travel with my noise-canceling headphones. So the case experience is okay. I like the fact that you've got a hanging hook here still on this case. There's a very small one on the Bose case. Typically, when I'm traveling, I have a backpack of some sort, and I will just hang this off of my backpack using a clip. And that is a little bit easier with the Sony, because this little Bose tag is so small. And then, of course, I can't even do that with these because they'd be flopping around. I'd have to put a clip around the headset, which I for sure do not like. And I don't know. I'm going to have to buy a case if I decide to keep these long term. Let's talk about the headsets themselves. Why am I using these 3 or choosing these 3 options to compare? Yes, the Bose QC45s are not, maybe not necessarily the flagship headset by price point, but they are a little bit more traditional Bose than the newer Bose headset that is more alike with these other models. And so I went with this Bose headset because I have the most experience with the QC line of Bose headsets. Now, what I do like about this headset is that it's all switches. There isn't any capacitive touch or any fancy knobs or whatnot. It's very basic and simple. The Bose headset folds up pretty small and is fairly comfortable. It's not any bigger than it needs to be. They're pretty lightweight, and they're very flexible. The 45s are the latest version of this model, and the quality, build quality, audio quality, all-around quality of the product is really nice. So you have a switch right here on the side. You just go ahead and switch that on, and it powers them up. I do like that because a lot of other headsets that I have had tend to accidentally get powered on or whatnot, and the battery drains out. Having a hard switch like that is nice. You can slide the switch over all the way to go into Bluetooth pairing mode. You've got your USB-C down below. You've got buttons for volume up, play, stop, next track, all of that stuff right here. And then you have your noise cancellation button right here. And so what's nice about this is that all the buttons are easy, and as soon as you figure out where they are, you know where they are. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these on and give a little bit of an experience with them. Now, right now, noise cancellation is turned on. So the button over on this side is going to act as a play stop button as well, but it also goes into the quiet or aware options of the headset. The quiet version, of course, is noise cancellation. It's canceling everything out. If I go into the aware mode, it is more of a pass-through, and I'm able to hear conversations that are happening. And I could be in that mode whether I'm listening to music or not. I prefer to go into the quiet mode and have the noise cancellation working for me, especially if there's a lot of things going on. So I'm going to listen to two different types of music just really quickly here, just to give some live feedback, I guess you can say. So I listen to a lot of hard rock metal, but I also listen to electronic music, hip-hop, and sometimes some classical music if I'm reading. And so I like music loud regardless, whether it's classical or metal, whatever. I like music loud, and so I've got the volume turned up all the way, and let's go ahead and hit play. So the thing about these QC45s is that they're not the most hard-hitting with bass, and Bose is known for that. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about headphones or studio speakers or whatnot that you're using, or if you have Bose enabled audio or whatever in your vehicle. It's not the most hardest hitting when it comes to bass, but what it is more clear in the mids and the highs. And so with these Bose QC45s, they are very clear in the mids and the highs. And I really like that. If I'm listening to more technical music where I want to hear the different intricacies between the different instruments or the notes that are being played, then the QC45s are going to give me a little bit more clarity there. In the vocals, definitely more clarity in the QC45s just because they aren't leaning so heavily on bass. But, of course, you're missing out on that. If you want the bass, if you want the harder hitting aspects of your music to push through, you're not going to get those in the QC45s. I would say that the QC45s are perfect for a person who listens to music more at a moderate level of volume and is more interested in hearing all the different aspects of that music and having clarity in those aspects, not necessarily wanting bass thumping them in the side of the head. The QC45s are going to be great for that. If you listen to audiobooks, higher end audio, spoken audio, a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, the 45s are going to be great because the clarity of the voice and everything, of course, if it's recorded well, is going to come through, and it's just going to feel really crisp and clear. So the QC45s, while being not the best when it comes to bass, are definitely superior so far in the clarity of the mids and the highs. Let's set these aside and move on to the Sonys. Now, I've had many versions of these Sonys before. I really like the Sonys. They've been my choice because I do switch back and forth between platforms. I'm not always on Apple devices. And so if I'm switching back and forth between a Samsung device or an Android device, my computer, an iPhone, these work really well. And I've had just about every version. I think the Mark IIs are the only one. I can't remember if it was the Mark II or the Mark III that I skipped, but I did skip one of them. But otherwise, I've had every model. Now, the Sonys here don't fold up flat don't fold up and tuck in anymore. They just lay flat. And so that's different between the previous year's versions. They lay flat, but they don't fold in like they used to. They are very flexible. And one of the things I noticed immediately when I held them for the first time was just how lightweight they are. They're lighter than the previous year's version. They're lighter than the Bose, and they're definitely lighter than the AirPods Max. And there's not many buttons here. We have a USB-C charging port, we have a headphone jack, our power button, and our Bluetooth pairing button, and then we have our noise cancellation button here as well, and everything else is just microphones for capturing external noises for the noise cancellation. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on. And right now they are in noise cancellation mode. One of the things that I do like about them is that I put my hand right over the cup here on the side and it pauses noise cancellation so I could have a conversation. I've utilized that many times while flying, even though it's kind of weird just to put my hand and like look up at somebody. I've got my hand on the side of my head. It's an easy way for me to get in and out of those modes. With the Bose, I found like pressing the button, sometimes it plays music instead of going into that quiet mode, and it's just really kind of annoying. The Sonys also figure out what's going on. Like if I've paused my music, I don't have to hold my hand here forever. Like it's gonna switch into the pass-through mode for me so that I don't have to sit there with my hand on the side of my head the whole time. I really like that about the Sonys. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with the music. We're gonna go ahead and play a little bit of metal here and just something nice and loud. Putting my hand over the cup brings the music volume down, goes through into that pass-through mode so I could have a conversation, which I really like. And then, of course, I could just tap to pause as well. The bass is just so much more. Like, if I spend any amount of time listening to music with the Bose, and then I go and throw the Sonys on, it's like, whoa, there's so much more bass than there is in the Bose. And the audio clarity is still there. It's not as crisp, I would say, because probably the bass is affecting a little bit of the listening experience. Because there's so much more bass, you're not necessarily as focused so much on the mids and the highs. And so I'm sure you can adjust that if you have some sort of an equalizer or an app that you can utilize and change the frequencies a little bit and bring down the bass, or maybe even just go into a different preset. There's more controls for stuff like that on an Android phone than there is on an iPhone. I might have the same clarity in the mids and highs as I would on the Bose. However, utilizing the presets, whether you set it to off or rock or blues or whatever preset that you use, there does seem to be more bass, and just the listening experience to me as far as music goes is just a little bit better with the Sonys, because I like loud music and I like that music to really make me feel immersed. And for me, it has to kind of be hitting me a little bit in order for that to happen. Now, the Sonys are very lightweight. I mean, they feel good and secure on my head. I mean, I couldn't lose these if I'm moving my head around a lot. These are not going anywhere. And really, the Bose are pretty secure as well. When I have them on my head, maybe they don't feel as secure as the Sonys. I feel this moving around just a little bit up top, but they are very secure. I would say the Sonys for sure are still my choice at this point, but I've really been interested in the AirPods Max, and I don't like the way that they look, and I don't like the case, and I don't like the fact that when I pull them out, they kind of tap at each other and stuff like that. They're metal, they're a lot heavier, but Apple doesn't make things that are not good. You get me? Apple products are good, they're thought through, and there's usually a reason why they're doing something. Now, I'm not going to give all of that to them and say that these are great just because Apple has a track record. There are things that I do not like about these beyond the diaper that they come with. I don't like the fact that they're metal and they tap together like this. I don't like the fact that they look like two faceless Apple Watches on the side of your head. I don't think that the digital crown adds really any good functionality to them. But what I do like about them is the mesh up top here. It's very comfortable. And even though these are heavier than the other two models that we've already looked at, they feel really good when I'm wearing them. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on. They feel really nice, and they immediately go into pass-through mode because I haven't started playing any music yet. They feel really great. Now, they move around like the Bose do. They're not quite as secure as the Sonys. If I move my head around, I feel them just moving around ever so slightly. They do feel very secure. The mesh on the top of my head feels really great, and I know being just a person who sweats a lot, if I'm out listening to music outside or whatever, it's a little warm or it's warm in the house, like this is going to make me sweat having these on my ears. And I spent a good amount of time with each of these, sometimes just making them my primary for the day, and then other times switching between them after about a half hour, an hour here or there. And the AirPods Max were the coolest on me. They produced the least amount of sweat around my ears, on the side of my head, and on the top of my head. I usually don't sweat too much up here, but it is noticeable. And on the sides here, definitely these big ear cups over my ears, I would end up sweating a little bit there. We have more of a like a leather feeling material on both of these additional headsets here, and then on these headsets we have more of kind of a mesh breathable material, and that kind of makes all the difference for me. So let's check out the music. I'm going to go ahead and go back to what I was originally listening to here, and we'll hit play. So the digital crown here I can rotate and it will adjust the audio levels. I've got a button here for noise cancellation, so I can go into pass-through mode. So right now, with pass-through mode on, I'm listening to music. I can also hear myself talk. If I go into noise cancellation mode, it really cancels out my voice and other noise that's in the background, and it's very noticeable. I can press on the digital crown and it pauses the music. I primarily listen to music in Spotify, and I've noticed that pressing on the digital crown one more time does not play the music. And so there's a breakdown there somewhere where with the AirPods Max, the controlling buttons work better in Apple Music, which of course that makes sense, than they do in other apps. And so it doesn't matter what I do, unless I double tap on the digital crown and go to the next track, I cannot hit play and start playing music again in Spotify, which is kind of annoying. I really like the audio quality of both the Apple AirPods Max and the Sony's when it comes to the type of music that I listen to most. Of course, I've already mentioned that the Bose is great in what the Bose does, and it's probably better for maybe somebody who listens to more mature music than me, but I like listening to music loud, and I like to feel my music. And with the Sony's and the AirPod Max, I can feel the music, and it just is a great overall experience. Okay, so let's button this video up. Which model would I choose? Well, I hands down am going to choose the Sony's over the others because the Sony's provide a better cross-platform experience than the AirPods Max. The AirPods Max are great if you are Apple only and you want that Apple look. I don't really like the look of the AirPods Max, even though I really like the comfort of the AirPods Max and the breathability of them. I think that Apple did a fantastic job with them, and if you're interested in a standalone review of either of these three, definitely let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll produce that. But the Sony's, I think they've improved on previous year's models by making them lighter weight, more secure fitting, easier to stow, and just have improved on that overall experience that has been great in that line of their product. The Bose definitely being a great option for those that don't need headset that is as hard-hitting and want to focus more on clarity. The Apple AirPods Max, I just don't, unless you have to have an Apple device and you want the Apple device, I really don't see a reason in purchasing these because they are higher priced, they don't come with a case that's very usable, and while they are very comfortable and breathable and the audio quality is absolutely fantastic, I just can't justify the things that I don't like about them as being an option over the other models. So I hope that this video helped you in deciding what option to go with. They're all fantastic options and really just come down to the individual's experience and what you're wanting to get out of a headset. So I've got links down in the description below. Clicking on those links and making a purchase through the link helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. You can purchase them through B&H Photo or Amazon. I highly recommend B&H Photo because the prices are absolutely fantastic and the shipping is express and at no additional cost, so it doesn't matter if you don't have Amazon Prime or whatever. You're going to get fast shipping to anywhere in the US if you use B&H. Of course, this is not sponsored. It's just a way for me to help pay for the bills of the channel here and the expenses of having all of this equipment. So with that said, I hope that this video helped. Give me any questions that you have down in the comment section below. Thumbs up on the video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when more videos are put out. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you back in another one soon. Take care.